Hi, Sonny here, and this is just going to be a video where I talk about how much I like Heat Up Normal and its music video. So if you hate the song, maybe click off now. Netsu Ijo, or Heat Up Normal in English, is a song by Iyowa that was released in 2022. It is sung by the Utao Adachi Rei, with Miku on the backing vocals. As of recording this video, it has over 7 million views on YouTube. What's unique about Adachi Rei is that she has no human voice provider. The voice bank was entirely made in Audacity by modifying sounds to achieve an entirely synthetic voice. The creator made a very in-depth video explaining how he made her voice, and it's like really technical but also like really cool. Off topic, but her creator Missile39 also started a crowdfunding campaign to make an actual life-sized robot of her. And it's reached its goal, so she is being built, probably as we speak. Anyways, the song Heat Up Normal can be interpreted in many different ways, but the interpretation that I personally agree with is that it depicts Adachi Rei listening to a recording of the last moments of humanity before we were wiped out by something, either from nuclear war, a meteor, or just the general heat death of the universe. You know, fun things like that. This is supported by the fact the lyrics of the song are entirely in quotations, one at the beginning of the lyrics and one at the very end. And this implies that what Rei is relaying to us is what's on the recorder. The unnaturally fast repeated lines in the song not only convey a sense of urgency, but could also represent the recording malfunctioning and repeating itself. Despite the lyrics containing a sense of panic and fear, the speaker otherwise seems to be completely resigned to their fate. And then again towards the end of the song, the speaker desperately repeats that this can't be reality, but never once throughout the song asks for help or wishes to be saved, because they know it's impossible. There's also like this underlying bitterness to the lyrics that whatever has caused the world to end wasn't directly caused by them. Like, the speaker is just like a powerless person that's caught up in all of this. The music video, which is also made by Iyowa himself, is so simple yet so impactful in its presentation, such as the background, which resembles thermal imaging and grows more intense in its colour throughout the song. The simple light changes, which look as if the sun has been completely blocked out at some points. The way Rei herself doesn't blink once because she's a robot. The way the picture glitches and wavers like a heat haze that's only growing more and more intense. Every time I watch the MV, I just can't get over how much is conveyed through a single animation loop and Rei's expression that can be read as either blank, fearful, or sorrowful all at once. At the end of the MV, Rei leaves a flower beside the recorder. This flower resembles a few different things, such as cinerarias or cosmos. However, I think the flower that fits most is Miyako Asure, which is a type of aster flower that's native to Japan. In flower language, they can mean a lot of different things, but the ones that stand out the most to me are farewell, a strong will, and until we meet again. This is just my own guess here, but I like to think that Rei leaving this flower behind is her way of sending off the person in the recording. The first time I heard the song, I just felt like an overwhelming sense of dread. The way Rei sings so frantically and the distorted and strange melody just really made me feel uneasy. And then you add the actual lyrics and the fact it sounds like an air raid siren is blasting in the bridge, and it all just conveys that the end is here and there's nothing you can do about it. Like for me, everything about it just really works. It paints a very vivid picture of hopelessness. Like, not to get too dark here, but at the end of the day, it is a really sad song, and it reminds the listener of how fragile our existence really is. It freaks me out, and yet I can't stop listening to it. I think the only other song that's unnerved me this much upon first listen is that freaking taiko song with the ominous counting. Okay, like, I'm easily unsettled, okay? How Heat Up Normal ended up in Project Sekai is a bit of a story on its own. Back in 2022, towards the end of the year, Proseka announced it would be collaborating with the Vocaloid Collection and would add the songs that placed number 1 in their seasonal rankings into the game. Heat Up Normal originally won the autumn 2022 rankings and should have been added. However, the song on Nico Nico was missing the necessary collaboration tag, which therefore meant it was disqualified from being added to Proseka. So instead, the song that placed second was added, which was Sekai-chan to Kafu-chan no Otsukai ga so kyoku, which is a banger, by the way. There was speculation as to what had happened, but Iyowa himself cleared up any misunderstandings in a twitcast, explaining that he simply didn't know the tag was necessary. And then once he saw his song climbing in the charts, he thought it would be wrong of him to add the tag after the fact, so he just left it without.
ボカセカね、あれなんだけど、そもそも俺タグつけないといけないということを最初知らなかったのよ。あまり気にしてなかったというか、まさか自分が1位になると思ってなかったから、もう全然考えてなくて、で投稿した時点ではやっぱもちろんついてなかったわけじゃん。で、なんかその伸びてからつけるっていうのもなんかおかしくねと思ったんですよ。伸びたから伸びたならボカセカつけようっていうのもなんかちょっとおかしいというか自分の中の信念に反するというかというのがあったので、今回はちょっとつけない形でやらせてもらったんですけど。
So Heat Up Normal wasn't added to the game just yet, but Iyowa later went on to make an original song for Momo Jump, Momo Iro no Kagi, and then 3 more songs of his were added to the game. Kyu Kurorin, Isen Konen, and Living for a Millennium. It wasn't until April 2024 that it was revealed in the monthly livestream that Heat Up Normal was back and was finally going to be properly added to the game. And not only that, but it was now also getting a 3D MV and a Sekai version sung by Nightcord.
人が歌う曲なのかってそれぐらい難易度高い。めちゃくちゃ難しい。でも楽しみ。ね。
So basically, in some alternate universe where Iyowa did add that collab tag, Heat Up Normal would have been added on its own without an MV or cover, and Sekai-chan wouldn't have been added at all. Which honestly would have been a tragedy. After the announcement in the livestream, Mizuki's voice actor tweeted, "I was able to sing Heat Up Normal. For this song I was seriously prepared to never leave the recording booth. I'm glad my tongue didn't just fly right off. Please listen to it once it's out." Kanade's voice actor also tweeted, "Nightcord and Kaido were able to sing Heat Up Normal. It was difficult, seriously so difficult, but I think it turned out really cool in the end. Please play it lots once it's in the game." Let's look at the Proseka MV, shall we? So the MV starts with a direct reference to the original, with Nightcord all mimicking Rei's pose and the lighting getting brighter. In this next scene, they all like kind of crouch down. It looks as if they've landed, or like they've just jumped and landed. Or I think it could also imply that the building they're in is shaking and they're all like bracing themselves. Kaito in the back, he stands up the slowest and it kind of has this ominous vibe to it. As they say, even if you erase it, the massive sun on the screens behind them, they go out one by one. I actually noticed this during editing. On one of the screens for a second, it shows the stages of the eclipse, but it also resembles the moon phases, which is a common motif in Nightcord songs. They're trying to like block out the fact that this is happening outside, you know? They're like, no, the world isn't ending, no, turn it off, black it out. But as the lyrics say, it won't go away. The light above them also flickers every time this happens, which I think could also imply like the building shaking, the power flickering because of what's going on outside. And I think it's cool that Kaido is the one that says it won't go away, because Kaido is kind of taking the place of the Black Star or the tragedy. Like, Kaido is the unstoppable force in the context of the MV. After Kaido says it won't disappear, the screens just turn to static, which I think implies the power has failed or the internet's gone down, things aren't going well. Then as they say something is coming soon, Nightcrawler will go to one side and Kaido goes to the other side, which again is implying he is the unstoppable force, he is the tragedy. He looks at them too with like a almost sinister expression. Now we cut to maybe the same building, maybe a different building, but we can see out the window behind them now, and it's like really bleak. It almost looks like a nuclear winter or something, or it could be a blizzard or just like a really cold day. Or I think the grayscale could just be implying that like this off vibe, like something's wrong, or like kind of like the calm before the storm. We see Nightcrawler all like run to one side, and Kanade looks back and forth to like mimic panic, or like everyone's running around on the streets, something like that. They mutter something's wrong with them and do this really cool dance move. As Mizuki says the line about surely there's an eternal paradise that must exist, it cuts to Kaido for a second. He almost like looks guilty because he like what Mizuki's saying isn't true. Then they say the Black Star line of looking at them, and everyone looks up, and Kaito then looks at the screen. And again, his expression is sinister and scary. Kaido was the perfect choice for this. Let me see this like sparkly effect, which if you're watching this for the first time, you don't really know the context of that yet. Sparkles are usually nice. Not in this case. These are bad sparkles. These are foreboding sparkles. The chorus hits. The chorus absolutely hits. First time I saw it, I was like, holy crap. We have this gorgeous lighting with a solar flare going on in the background. Don't worry about that. And you have Mizuki leading the chorus. Mizuki's voice actor can sing. She sings so well in this cover. Her voice is just like so powerful. Like it's so good. It hits. Then Mizuki says the line of the farewell bell sounding. And it cuts to Enna for like a little second. And it's like, that's so intentional. They did that on purpose. The lighting in this scene is just so good though. I really love it. At first glance, it's like a beautiful kind of sunset. But then you look a little closer, you can see a plume of smoke coming straight from this star in the background. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's not a sunset. Oh no, that's bad. I also really love the choreo in this part. And I like that Mafuyu got the line of the answer tasting like sand, because as we know from the story, Mafuyu lost her sense of taste. And his expression is so sad here too. Bro, so sad. Then Kanade asks a question to someone's clear eyes, and it's straight up meteorite in the MV. Proseka's MV isn't subtle about what they think caused the end. Then we get this visual of just the straight up apocalypse. Looks like it's straight out of a Michael Bay Transformers film. Then we come back to the building that they're in, and it's on fire, just straight up on fire, burning down. The landscape outside is completely apocalyptic. The sun is blocked out. It's bad. It's a bad time. But then as they say the line about, if only we could hold hands and love one another, you can see Nightcrawler reaching out to each other, or trying to reach out to each other, but they can't. Like Enna moves away from Mafuyu, and Mizuki tries to reach out to Kanade, but they both don't reach each other. I also think it's another cool detail they gave Mafuyu the line about ridding themselves of the dream that couldn't come true, because her dream is to make music with everyone. And it's like, oh, in the context of this song, it doesn't come true, which is like sad. It's like, oof. As they all start saying like, this can't be real, this can't be reality, they all look away. Nightcord all look away, but you can see Kaito in the background staring right at reality. Like Kaito even just turns around to look at what's going on. He's like in character throughout this whole song. Like he said before in the story to Mafuyu that don't look away, don't turn your eyes away from reality.
相手はお前を、お前の思いを殺そうとしてるのに、情けをかける必要があるのか？
殺す？違う。母さんは私の思いを殺そうなんて。
いい加減、目をそらすのはやめろ。
The way Nightcord all look away differs between them. Like Kanade looks straight down into her hands. Mafuyu looks away initially, but then looks with one eye, saying that maybe she is half looking at it, but she doesn't want to accept it. Anna looks away completely and shuts her eyes. She doesn't want anything to do with it. And Mizuki kind of shields their eyes, but from their expression, you kind of get the sense that they do know what's happening, but they're trying to look away anyway. If you noticed, before now, in the chorus part, you can hear Kaito in the background harmonizing with all of Nightcord, but then during this can't be real part, Kaito stops singing. Kaito's too busy looking at the eclipse behind him. And then once Nightcord stopped denying their reality, Kaito comes in and it's just Kaito singing. Kaito sings the entire last part himself. And throughout this part, Kaito doesn't stop looking at the camera once. What's really cool about this is that it really highlights that Kaito isn't human. Kaito is the only virtual singer here. And the humans had been singing the song up until this point. And they've been doing a decent job, but they had to like switch between each singer during the fast parts. But with Kaito, he doesn't need to breathe. He can just say this entire part on his own. I don't know, I think it's really cool because like the original is sung by a robot. Ray has no troubles with the whole thing, whereas a human struggles to sing this fast, but then they still keep that element of like a robot taking over. And I really like the way they did it with him waiting till the very end for him to just have his solo and to like really hammer home that like Kaito isn't real. Kaito's a robot. He can sing like this. He is the tragedy. He is inevitable. I like this dance move they do where Kaito like is almost puppeteering Nightcord to stand up again. And then as they all start looking towards the camera, Nightcord all kind of look various forms of distressed or they look away, but Kaito is staring at us the entire time. And then we cut to, I assume, the same building, except there's nothing outside anymore. The city is gone. It has returned to sand, which I think at this point is implying that Nightcord are already gone. The humans are already gone, supported by the fact that they each disappear one by one at this point. Another interesting thing is that Mizuki, Anna, and Mafuyu are all holding their hands out in some way, but Kanade isn't. Kanade is like holding her heart. They disappear one by one, Anna, Mafuyu, Mizuki, and then Kanade. And then Kaito gives this like knowing look to the camera. Like he looks directly at us, the audience at this point. It's kind of like a warning almost. And then he too turns around and disappears because in a world without humans, like Vocaloids can't sing. They need humans to be able to sing. So he disappears too because he has no purpose anymore. Then it directly references the original again with the flower and the recorder. That's basically the run through of the music video. I'm looking forward to when the full cover comes out and we can see like how they divided up the rest of the lines of the song. I think the outfit choices for the official upload of the music video were like really good too. I feel like thought was put into it because the Nightcord themselves are dressed in white, but they're dirty and their clothes are worn and torn, which again implies a struggle. And it could also tie in with the line of our hands are dirtied with hope. And then in contrast, Kaito is pristine. His outfit is pristine white and he It adds to him feeling artificial and unnatural. Taking it at face value, it's obviously about like the world being blown up by a meteor and ending. But if you would rather not think about Nightcord dying, you could also look at it from a less literal sense, where it's like instead of it being the literal end of the world, Kaito instead represents the reality in their lives that they have to face, or the troubles that they have to stop avoiding and face, which again is in character for Kaito because that's kind of his role in the Sekai. He's meant to be the one that's really blunt and direct. And then I saw someone say that the way they disappear at the end is kind of how they log out of the Nightcord, which is cool. It's a lot less dark than them dying. It also could be like the order that they're saved, and that's why Kanade disappears last, because she wants everyone else to be saved before her. I really like how the Nightcord cover kind of shows a more human side to the song compared to Ray's, which is completely relayed to us by a robot. Whereas with Nightcord's version, there's more of like a desperation or a struggle of them wanting to live. But yeah, I still can't believe this meteor visual is in Project Sekai. Anyways, I wasn't expecting this video to get so long, so if you made it this far, thank you for listening. I hope my ramblings were coherent. Let me know in the comments what you think about the song or the MV or whatever. I love hearing other people's interpretations of songs and stuff. I also wasn't sure where to fit this in the video, but Miyashita Yu's cover of the song is also like really good, and he adds so many layers and extra little bits to the song. It's good. Go listen to it. Goodbye. So instead, the song that plays second was added, which was Sekai-chan to Kafu-chan no Otsukai Gasso Kyoku, which was Sekai-chan to Kafu-chan no Otsukai Gasso Kyoku. Oh my god. Gasso Kyoku. Sekai-chan to Kafu-chan no Otsukai Gasso Kyoku. And then 3 more songs of his were added to the game. Kyukurarin, Isen Konen, and Living for a Minute.